Welcome to Yeshiva Daf Shir sponsor Louis Nishma Sam Yakshom Nabas Yitzchok. We're holding in Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Yud Beis. One daf before the end. One daf for the last daf of the Masechta. So we're holding now the two dots, 6 lines down the page. It happens to be that this daf is the one daf per chelik, which seemingly is not agata. Doesn't have it to talk about Aaron Dachas. As we mentioned at the beginning of the parak, there are some that want to say that the whole reason you brought Perek Chelik is for this. Meaning, because we wanted to speak about Aaron Dachas, so we mentioned what everybody else said, immediately got into Chelik Lamabo and all that. Many disagree, but just to point this out, this is like the daf of this parak in terms of Hilchasa of getting to Aaron Dachas. Look at the Gemara. So when we learn the Mishnah, we have to have the majority of the people. Right. If they have to be the ones that are in order to be Yarnei Dachas. So how do you go when you meet and you judge them? Really, the Gemara is asking a very technical question. You wait for everybody to be
done, and then what?
They're
all killed already.
Yeah, exactly. And one person does it for the Zohar, you're ready to kill him. 2 people do it for the Zohar, you kill him. So when do you have Ruba? Says the Gemara.
You're not done as a group. You have to
as we'll see in a moment.
We did that before.
What you do is you judge and put him in jail. And wait. Get another guy, you see if it's the majority. So you have to wait to see. And maybe it will take a few days. Your man is dino. What you do is each one is individual. You do skilo, which is dostayachid. Well, let's say the city has 1,000 people. Once you reach 500, now you stop doing skilo anymore. As we just said, you give a lot of botei dinim, which means you just try to put as many botei dinim as possible together. You have
to give Misra l'kol yachid v'yachid. So how can you give Misra? Part of the Misra is you're going to have to tell them what they're going to need to be killed.
Oh, very good child. Excellent child. So first of all, we learned the machlekes. That's what partially you have to give him the misa. He's a misa. We also learned that even if you're older, you have to give this misa. The misa kala is included in misa chamur. So there is a solution. Now, it could be, will it work for everybody? You have to go to the cheshbon of the sukkah and you can have a good child. So says the Gemara. So again, it says the Gemara, but it says Isha, who is Isha. So you can't, even if you do money but they didn't, you can't judge all of them together. It's a special thing. You don't judge the whole city. You don't pass him. You're right. The only one who can judge a whole city is only based in a gadol. And that's what you have to do. You have to have a based in a gadol. If you do not have a based in a gadol, so you can't judge him. But if you do have based in a gadol, so what you do is you make sure that it's the majority of the city, and then you go and you kill them. Mentioned the Mishnah. You have caravans of donkey men or camel men that are going from place to place. They add up to the city. If they stopped in the city, and they're part of the people that were joined the Aaron Dachas activities, if they lived there for 30 days, and so then they're killed with a sword and they lose the money like Aaron Dachas. Because less than 30 days, and Beskilo, Monopod, the Beskilo, and the money is saved. How long should he be in the city, and he will still have the din of the city? Says that what you learn, you base Chodesh. It has to be 12 months. So why say only 30 days? The difference between Bnei Mata, like the son, means is a full
residence.
Or it's a Yosef. There's resident and citizen. Is a Yosef or not? This is one of the answer. One of them when they have the question. We have Ezu ben Lambo in the previous parak, and in the parak they call it social chek Lambo. So first you bring this Gemara. They say no. There's ben Lambo. There's no chek Lambo. It can be Yosef Mato. It can be Ben Mato. So about time it says in the Vayis Amuda no bnei Ayir. The Gemara brings a right. If there's someone there for 12 months, also the nurse menu, because we can't mutal nurse menu because not been a year. We did a nether from the residents of the city. Because we can't mutal nurse menu, 30 days is the cutoff. Stacks works well with Iridachas. The Grand takes to the next words. Because it says only when it's in there. Now it's out. The rabbis which means that tzaddikim were not killed. Tzaddikim did not do over the Zohar, not killed. But any assets, any property that they have in the city, it will be taken. Shlala, taking away whatever belongs to Shamayim, as we'll see in a moment, what is Hegdish and Truma, etc. What's Ace? To add something else. What are you coming to add? Coming to add the Nichsei Tzadikim, Nichsei Rishoyim out there. The Rishoyim are killed with all the properties, save their properties in the city or outside the city. Why do you take away the Nichsei Tzadikim? So Rashi says, Rav Shimon Dash time to go. So I want to know what's the reason of the pasuk. Who caused them to live in this city? Why you tzaddikim live with Rishon? Answer is Mamoino. There are lots of reasons. In other words, the money caused them to live there, so that's why the money goes away. Although we said the problem when the Kuvi based on Mudalef, last quarter of the page. So he says that even though we said the Nichsei Rishoyim needs to be burned, but only if it's close enough that you could bring it to the city, to the city center and burn it there. It has to be that it's nearby. Rashi says it has to be it can be within one day. So the Gemara, if you have pigdonis, which means it's being held by somebody else, so then it's mutter. So what's the case? Who owns it and who's holding it and where is it? It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to a different city. And it's in the area dachas. Pshita the mutar and lav shlolo versus mutar. It's not their shlolo. It's a shlolo. Someone here is it somewhere else? You think what's your toicho? If you could bring it in there in my mutar, you say whatever comes in within one day, you have to burn. If not, you already mentioned it. We already learned that anything is mutar, which is a second ago. So what's the chiddush of the second of Chizdu? Say the Gemara, the mafkad the soich. Talk about Yechezkel that's in their city. The Hatchet Dachas are Achroyan, that they have responsibility. Mal today, we can keep the Yechezkel Kedid Dami. I think maybe it's like theirs. That's a gal, but Tichus Pesach Gabe Achreis. Omar Chizdo. Another Chizdo. Beimo Chetzer Shir Dachas Chetzer Shir Yechezkel Asur. You have a beimo. Half has a the half belongs to Yechezkel, half belongs to somebody else. It's also the use over here that the Rashi brings. This whole animal, every part of it, it's connected to each other. You have a dough, half belongs to the Yechezkel, half to the other. Muteris, it's not divided. It's not divisible. You have to do one shechita for both. You can cut it off. So as Rashi explains, it's clearly this behemoth also. It's also why it's shlala of yanidachas. But the shaila is, will at least not have tumas nevel. When a behemoth dies and without a shechita, she causes tumah. It causes tumah. Tumas nevel. What if you did shechita? Shechita takes away tumas nevel. Shechita of yanidachas. What about that? What the Torah says you have to kill the animal. Shechting is another way of killing it. It's not considered to be shechita anymore. Or the shachto me'ana l'shchito. Ma'ase was a shchita. So come on, my take. We don't have an answer. What about women's tzaddikas?
Going back to another thing, what if you shech the treifa, you should take it out from the tumas and the
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good. So the more boy says, you have a noshiv tzikonius. They're not killed. What about their hair? So what do you mean? What's exactly what? How their shor is asur? You want to tell me that the hair of your shor is asur? The only things you burn is what you have to just gather. You have to cut it off and gather and then burn. That you don't do. So there's no din to burn, like one understands. Maybe he means to take the hair and burn it together with their property. No, that's not true. It's connected. We're talking about a shetel. We're talking about a wig. It's connected to her body. It's on a net. Is it like our other properties, other items, other assets that is burned? Of course, it's in the city. Or maybe because it's taken in and out, it's like, do we consider the shade to be your clothing? Or it says, if it's clothing, you don't burn the clothing. You don't think that they can tell them not to leave the Adach naked, they could go with their clothing. Rashi brings over here that.
So you see they have the human hair shade like that also?
Oh, no, so Rashi brings over here with the shade was interesting. He says that Osim Lenoi, it's Gdil Shasaz, the Alma Shoisim Lenoi. It doesn't matter if it's covering her hair, just like you do as extra beauty.
Extensions.
Bro. Says the Gemara, so what's the stake? You take the whole shlah, put it into the city center. You must have the rechav, you must have the square. You don't have it, you make one. It means it already has it, or it means it can be created later. That is the machlekes. Okay, very good. When you have kul base and base on top. So we learned in the Brayso, we learned in the Mishnah, when you have a hegdish, you don't burn it. Say what the Rabbanon no yubo kochi kadoshim, or the Girsa yubo kochim. Kochim is beyach. If it's a clear beyach, you kill it. Kochim bedigabais yipodu. If it's bedigabais, you redeem it. Vetrumois yirokvu, let it rot. Umayse sheni v'kisa kodesh igonzu. They want to explain all that. Shivanoim behem so v'loi behem asbchor umayse. You come to school behem asbchor umayse. We'll see in a moment why is that different than the other dishes that we mentioned. Shlola belongs to her. Prat the kesef hegdish, the money that belongs to hegdish, kesef ma'aser. That's the price. So the Gemara. Omar oyu b'kochim kochim is back in musu. V'maya musu yiru achi stavu v'mochu v'plu d'mein l'dovo. You just said that animals that belong to kochim are not a din of yonidachas. So mashma, I have no other solution to him. Of course, you have a solution. You know what he could do? Just let it get a blemish. Like we always say, by kochim, you let it get a blemish. When a kochim becomes puzzle, you wait for it to get a blemish, and then you redeem it. You do the same thing over here.
Why? If it's an animal given for kochim mizbeach, it's for an oil or a chatas.
You can't bring it to the chatas because of your dachas.
Yeah, but it's shalala. It just doesn't get.
No, so we learned shalala of shal shamayim.
Right.
So there's no shamayim, but you can't. Yeah, so you can't be makav for them, but you could go and take it. It belongs to the Rishonim.
But it belongs to.
Rashi brings Rashi that can be makavit even before they die because misusulaak from commercial Rishonim alalu. It's a mos. Okay, so let it get a blemish. So Rabbi Yochanan zevach Rishonim tohevel. No, it's still zevach Rishonim tohevel. You say I don't want even have even the redemption. We're talking about that it belongs to the It's Kodesh Chai so that if you're responsible, like I'm sure, don't have a moment by
We had this before, but if the carbon is still considered.
we didn't have it. But yeah, we had no Kodesh Kalim. Usually, this Kodesh we have throughout Shas Kodesh Kalim. You would think of a Kodesh Kadoshim, but you have here if you have that, you use some because of yours. That's your Shimon. So I mean, the same of Shimon, he raised a lot of Shimon. Later in Bryce it says of Shimon. Reish is not of Shimon. Hello, Kodesh Kalim. A little bit of everything. That's Kodesh Kalim. Kodesh Kalim, Mama Bailim. Talk about Kodesh Kalim like Shlomi. And according to Reish Galili, belongs to the owner. Aval Kodesh Kadoshim. You want a regular Kodesh Kadoshim will be the din. Mai Podu. I tell you, say for Kodesh Kadoshim, Podu. It says later Kodesh Kadoshim. Leaf like Velidim Bedido. Why talk about Kodesh Kadoshim? Which means items that belong to Eidish which are not a carbon. And you're ignoring carbon completely. Say that the carbon I'm talking about is only carbon, which is his owner. But a carbon was not an owner, you also can redeem it. Leave looking at the bedido, when Kodesh Kalim, his owner, Kodesh Kadoshi Podu. So what can the equal Chatos Shemisu Baaleo, the Misu Oslo? Loip Sikale. I'll tell you why. We have a din. If you have a Chatos that the owner died, you can't be marked of it. So then, regardless of the fact if it's a din here in Dachas, not here in Dachas, like once you kill the owner, I have to kill it. So to come and say, oh, you should know the Kodesh Kadoshi like you redeem. Not everyone you can redeem. Only some of them you can redeem. That's I don't want to get into that part. So Mishum Yechezkel Makar Shlokish Dichtiv Zevach Hashem Tehivo. Shloki Yechezkel said, why can you use it? It says Zevach Hashem Tehivo. It's a Zevach Hashem. Hello Shlokish, my time alone, Makar Yechezkel. Why did he not say like Yechezkel? That he said Zevach Hashem Tehivo, and he had to come because to Kodshim that belongs to him. He says no. Zevach Hashem Tehivo is only when you have the actual carbon. But here, that we wait for them to be redeemed, is not Zevach Hashem Tehivo anymore. Like the Avon in the Gemara. So that's why Shlokish is not like this answer. What is it covered to say? From asking, we talk about a korban b'chor or meiser, which are tummy, has no blemish. Shlash shamayim. So Rabbi Shimon says that we already said that whatever belongs to Shamayim is not part of the Dachas. What are you coming to add? Ela bali mumin. And I talk about that we're talking about b'chor or a meiser that had a blemish, and you redeem it. Shlol and it belongs to them. Ma'avinu lo ilam bali mumin. Ubi shenechol b'toras behemtecho yitzu elu shenecholim b'toras behemtecho el toras b'chor u'meiser the shalol shamayim ninu. Well, you're right. Really, we talk about azamum. If it has a mum, so it's theirs. It's not theirs. Why not? Because you don't eat them as theirs. You eat them as b'chor shlom and meiser. Rashi says because as a shem levai. Look at Lashon Rashi in the end of the Talmud. Rashi says. Going by moving feel like in the Sofi mod the shin the krach bem told mission echal lebayim toras bem tov. It's really shesh them shem levai. Has another name. Shein echol toras bem tov shein omdim omrim beimas in dachas el beimas b'chor u'mais shein dachas. So Rashi just says it's the name. Others say the pshat is that it's not because the name is it. B'chor and meiser that was redeemed has limitations to it. Psulam Gdosh, what's the din? You can't just sell it in the Itlis. You can't sell it in the butcher shop. And you can't wait. There's different limitations. So it's still a shtickle kachim. That's what I consider to be completely theirs. Saying, well, pliga the shmuel. This argues in shmuel. What is arguing shmuel? Toma shmuel kol korev ve'akol nivdo. You do a carbon and you redeem it. My kolmar. Hachikoma. Kol shekorev kishu tam. Ve'nivdo kishu ba'al mum. Whatever, when it's a tam and has no blemish, you put it on the mizbech. When it has a blemish, you redeem it. Then mishlolo. Then it's mishlolo imit. It's going to be excluded because it's not shlo. It belongs to Shemayim. When it doesn't have a blemish. Kol shekor kishutam ve'inu nidak kishuv almum. Whatever is a korv kishu. When it's time you could mark it. When it has a mum, you don't redeem it. Like what? Like b'chor and meiser, you can't redeem it. You just eat them the way they are. Kol b'chor and meiser. Because different drasha. Rashi says. So before we get to the explaining the drasha, well, what does Shmuel come to say? Shmuel said we're not talking about an animal that has a blemish. We're talking about an animal that has no blemish. If it's no blemish, it's kodesh shamayim. No, because when it does have a blemish, you can't redeem it. It's not a regular blemish. It's not a regular Kodesh Shemayim. It's a special thing. It's a special pasuk. Rashi says, Rashi says, we go on to the quote Shekorev Kishutam. A few in the left side, a few lines down, the narrow lines. He says, "Elanechu lebayik b'choru ma'aseh hahu lav shlal shamayim mikru." It's not Kodesh Shemayim. Ve'afilu b'tamuso. Filu matzeh miver labu tamuso shel shamayim. Shari nechu b'mumoy. Yetzve'erto lemuti b'choru ma'aseh t'mimi in the mishlal lek lemuti. V'aynu pliga, that's what argues the iu mukila afilu b'tmimi. So b'choru ma'aseh b'lemumi and talk karina be'ubasayv. So it comes like this. The first one, though, I'm explaining. The B'chor Meiser, when it has no blemish, it's a regular korban. When it has a blemish, it's still, even though right now it's like you could eat it like a regular food for the kohen, the owner, but it still has shtickle kosher. The Shmuel says the exact opposite. When it has a mum, there's no kosher at all. Even when it does not have a mum, because when it has a mum, you don't redeem it. So even though that tells you it's not full kashim, you have to have a special policy to tell you that it's excluded, not part of Shal Shamayim. And he made the pshat in this brayso when it says pshat in Ma'aseh B'chor Kodesh Shmuel will be only when it doesn't have a mum. It's not going to be part of your nidachas. Not when it does have a mum. Something about Trubas Yirok, you let the Trumas rot. Why? Because it could belong to Shabbat. That's only the Trumas by Yisrael. Aval Trubiat Kohen Kevadim Moinu Tisorf. True by a kohen, he can mekadosh with it. He can do with it whatever he wants. So you burn it. When you have Ma'aseh Sheni and you have Kisvei HaKodesh, what do you have to do with it? You have to put it into the Gniza.
Why?
Why? Because it could be Kodesh Shabbat. Kodesh Shabbat.
Kisvei HaKodesh also?
Yeah. It has like Kedusha to it. Ma'aseh Sheni by Yisrael, Ketrum Yad Kohen Dam Miktani Gonzu. Ma'aseh Sheni by Yisrael, he can do with it. He owns it. So the same way by a Kohen, you're saying that when a Trum is by a Kohen, that's his. Ma'aseh Sheni by Yisrael is his. Hello, Eid Ma'achid. Amar Chizlo Shonu Trum Yad Kohen. Trum Yad Kohen we say as in Kedusha. Aval but Trum Yad Yisrael Tinosen LeKohen Shmir Ches. It's not his. He needs to give it to a Kohen. So when it's biyoni dachas and it's by the kohen, by the rightful owner, so I'm saying you should know that really it's something that it's something which has a name of kochim, but because it's not his, as Rashi says, the true biyat kohen amoinu tisorf. In other words, so the Gemara started by saying, just to clarify, the Gemara started by saying that a Truma B'Yad Yisrael, we say it doesn't burn, because that is, Truma B'Yad Kohen the Truma B'Yad Kohen is it will burn. So the Gemara, no, Truma B'Yad Kohen, you don't burn. So you don't burn it. It is not considered to be his, even though it's B'Yad Kohen. But there's nowhere else to put it. So what do I do with it? It's like he is responsible for it. So I let it rot. He's not considered to be completely his, to be a din of Yeri Dachas. But you let it right. But if it's B'Yad Yisrael, it's not his. So take it away and give it to a Kohen.
Yeah, but Trumas B'Yad Yisrael from in the Dachas, right? It's not his. So it's considered shlala, right?
No, it's not shlala. That's why you give it to Kohen. Yeah, that's give it to Kohen. Truma is not considered to be shlala. But if it belongs right to the Kohen, who you can give it to, I mean, you don't take it out. But right? Rashi says, it is, to be more clear, True B'Yad Kohen is Mominoi, but without Mizalza B'Voy Kulai, Lulosh Rashi. And the True B'Yad Kohen, the Moinu V'Lo Mizalzim Kulai with the Kodesh. It's partial Kohen, partial Kodesh. Because it's Kodesh, we don't burn it like
why is Mizalza?
Because it's Kodesh.
So what,
yes.
what's the, is there an Isser in it?
Yeah, that's what we said. Shlav Lo Shlo Shamayim. Here it's like a combination of both. So I don't give it, I don't burn it.
Here, so, but is there an Isser in
I don't know. But that's the thing. The question is, what do you do with all these things? Says the Gemara Tlan, no, so. Kitzel Shemais Sheni, P'tur Min Achal Divrei Amir. Yami Yiso Ma'is Sheni. You don't have to do a first Chal, because it's not his. Chayim Mechayim. Chayim say you do have to do Chal. Well, Chiz the Machlek Ma'is Sheni B'Yushalayim. That's only Yushalayim. The what? The Meso Ma'is Sheni Momon Gavoyahu. When it's Savi moment, head to a question: who's the owner? If he's the owner, if the Yisrael is the owner, it's first Shechal. If he's not the owner, it belongs to Shemaim. It's not first Shechal. If it's not Yerushalayim, then for sure it belongs to Shemaim. You can't use it. You can't eat it outside Yerushalayim. So there he's potter v'nachal. By us it says by Yeridachas. What do you do by Sheni? You bury it. You ask it. In Yerushalayim, you have Yeridachas. There's 10 things said in Yerushalayim. And one of them is Einona says Yeridachas. Yerushalayim cannot be Yeridachas. Right? Elamai want to tell me it belongs to a different city and they brought it here. Hakaltu mechitzes, right? Elamai. It belongs to him. Now it's in Yerushalayim. Now it's Niklat Yerushalayim. That doesn't belong to Yeridachas anymore. Elamai talk about that it's Yeridachas and it's Yeridachas. So you see the what? What do you see? That when it's outside, so why do you say you can't eat it? That's what the Gemara is asking. If you hold the moment gavoya, you should be able to eat like shlalav lo shlosh shamayim. One thing important that comes out of the sugya: there are some things shlosh shamayim that Yerdachas isn't affected. Some things are not mamish shlosh shamayim, so Yerdachas does affect it. Why does it affect it if it's moment gavoya? So lo yilum diachez that's cool gavo. Elamah we talk about they did bring it to Yerushalayim. Because if you tome, you can't eat it. And that's why he doesn't have the din of Ma'aseh Sheni Yerushalayim. Says the Gemara, that's he can't eat it. For the course, so to redeem it. So you can redeem it. Even Yerushalayim. How do you know that? Because the Pasuk says, so it says the Pasuk, Ma'aseh Sheni you can redeem either if you're far away, or loy suchal so which means you can't carry it. Or it's just a double lashon. You can redeem it if it's far, or you can't carry it. It's hainuach. So what vein says elachilo. Says achilo. Sheneemar ve'isama sudat. One is you can't bring it. The second one is you can't eat it. Why? Because it's tummy. So you can redeem it. So why don't you redeem it? So it's more talking about that he already used the money. How does Ma'aseh Sheni work? The Sheni works, you go to the field, you take fruits by the Sheni. You bring it to Yerushalayim, you redeem it, you exchange it for money. You take the money to Yerushalayim, and now that money you buy stuff. So that's what you did. If you already bought with the money stuff, the items by the Sheni, you can't redeem it anymore.
No less.
No less, you can't redeem it. No. Tama is only if you brought the by the Sheni itself.
No,
but if you lakuach, no. So the Gemara says, "My skin bilakuach." It was purchased with Ma'aseh Sheni, and that's why now it says the Gemara if Kivdim Odalef really frikay, so still redeem it. Not al because Ma'aseh Sheni shidmo yipote. We still have a Mishnah that says you can redeem it. Can't be the dom you call there. It says you can't redeem it anymore. Yachi my year in Edachas you dalmanam. So what's do with the Edachas? Stop fruits of Ma'aseh Sheni that came to Yerushalayim. I mean not fruits, money Ma'aseh Sheni. Came to Yerushalayim, you bought the fruits and became Tameh, you can't redeem it. So there's nothing you can do with it anymore. So the Gemara, we talk about fruits that came to Yerushalayim. Hi, if it's Yerushalayim, it was niklat in the mechitzas of Yerushalayim, and now already you should be able to eat it because of niklat mechitzas of Yerushalayim. Because when the nafal mechitzos, mechitzas of Yerushalayim fell off. Because the Rava Damarava mechitzos lechol deraiso. The fact you have to eat in Yerushalayim is when you have mechitzas, when you have walls, that's the din deraisa. But they have the din of klito. What's klito? So once you went in there, you can't take it out. It's only din derabanan. So let's see Losh Rashi. And here it's coming. We'll see with a little bit of a he'ora before we get to Mechar. Rashi says, "Al mechitza likloit sheyu mechitzos kolto is bein linyan b'diyo bein linyan lekol inyan mid'abanan." The shuv it's already there. You can't do anything with it. So then the din is so what the Gemara says like this: Ma'aseh Sheni. How does the Gemara say? When we have some things like truma or meiser avir nedachas, we say really you have to get rid of it. But because there's some kedusha, so what do you do with it? You do what do you do? What's the lashon of the brayso? Shlomo pro the kesef hegdish kesef ma'aser, right? Sorry, ma'aser shaynik is a kesef yigonzu. You do gniza. Why do you do gniza? Why don't you burn it? Like everything else, you give it more covet. But it really has to do in your time because you have to be going to it. So ask more why. You should be able to eat it. You have no din at all. Why don't you eat it? Why should you be able to eat it? Because once it went into Yerushalayim, now you can't leave. Now you can't redeem it. So it belongs to Yerushalayim, so you're able to eat it. So come on, no. Who said that once it goes to Yerushalayim, you can't take it out, you can't redeem it? You can't take it out from there. Rabbanan said it. Rabbanan said only when you have walls. We don't have walls now. So we're talking about it went to Yerushalayim, there's no walls. There's no walls, you can still take it out. So really, it doesn't have a din of Yerushalayim as the din of Nedachas. So therefore, it really has to be gone. You don't burn it to give it a covet. So what do? You gonzo. That's how Gemara explains it. A little more to talk about. There's a lot of Kudus of it. There's a very, very shver Rambam on this. But we'll stop over here.
We have a few minutes. We're not going to be in for a while. You want to go further?
No, we'll leave it for tomorrow. It's Shem.